We'll call to order the Committee of the Whole for the December 16th Auburn City Council meeting. City Council should have the minutes from the Committee of the Whole from December the 2nd. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I've passed out a minor correction I'd like y'all to consider. Paragraph 3 of the minutes mentions the council discussed the proposal and agreed to continue discussing it in the coming weeks. I don't think we're going to have any coming weeks discussion on that. So I'd like to change that, delete that sentence and add in, no consensus was sought by the mayor and he committed to discussing it one-on-one with the council members.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any thoughts or comments, questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and the minutes have been corrected. Anything else with the minutes? Any other additions or corrections? If not, is there a move to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the minutes are approved. Cemetery Advisory Board, Mayor Pro Tem Witten.
Yes, sir, there are two vacancies. Terms begin January 1, 2026 and end December 31, 2029. We had incumbent Shannon Walden, who served one full term, and Gwen Reed, who has served two full terms. Shannon Walden did fill out an application for a second full term. I would like to nominate Shannon Walden for a second full term.
Second.
All right, a motion is second to nominate Shannon Walden for a second full term. Any comments or questions? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries, and we'll confirm that later on in the agenda.
And we will need to reopen the Cemetery Advisory Board to fill that second vacancy. Correct?
Yes, we will do so.
Okay. All right, Waterworks Board, Mayor Pro Tem Witten.
Yes, sir. There's one vacancy. Term begins January 20, 2026 and ends January 19, 2032. Incumbent Bernard Hill has served one partial term and one full term. And I would like to nominate Jay Lockhart for the open seat.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for Jay Lockhart. Any comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries, and we certainly appreciate Bernard Hill's service to the Water Board. Okay, questions on tonight's agenda for the city manager? Any questions from the dais for the city manager? Okay, Ms. Crouch, anything for us?
No, sir.
Okay, is there a move to adjourn the committee of the whole?
So move.
All right, we are adjourned, and we will begin right at 6 o'clock. You are certainly welcome to talk to one another over the next couple of minutes. We'll call to order tonight's Auburn City Council meeting for December the 16th, 2025. We welcome all of you that are joining us live this evening in the council chambers. We welcome those that are listening on WANI and that are watching through our streaming services. With the roll call, Lindsay?
Adams,
Here.
Coblentz,
Here.
Dawson,
Here.
Griswold,
Here.
Mormon,
Here.
Parsons,
Here.
Taylor, Witten,
Here.
Anders.
Here. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Earlier tonight during the Committee of the Whole, there was one addition, or one correction, I should say, to the minutes. Other than that, the minutes were approved from the December 16th Committee of the Whole. The City Council reappointed Shannon Walden to a second full term in the Cemetery Advisory Board and will reopen the position for Ms. Gwen Reed, who has served 2 full terms. I encourage our community that are looking for ways to serve the city. Cemeteries are very important. They're very important what we do. They have a direct relationship to our Parks and Rec department and leadership team, but in a growing community, cemeteries matter, and we need our citizens to help us with policy and oversight. So if that's an area that you think you might be interested in, please go to the city's website, read about the Cemetery Advisory Board, look at some of their agendas, and if you're interested, please fill out an application and we'll consider you at a later date. Also, the City Council appointed Jay Lockhart to the Waterworks Board. Very excited about Jay's service and look forward to having him part of the city. Jay's a young businessman whose father was the second ever African-American police officer in the city of Auburn, and I believe he'll do a great job, and I want to thank Bernard Hill for his service on the Water Board. As far as Mayor's announcements, I just want to say thank you to our public safety team for another outstanding toy drive. Over 450 children are going to receive something at Christmas this year because of the efforts of people that work in our public safety as well as other volunteers. So, Director Matthews, if you would please extend our thank you to all the good people that participate in this, and thank you for your leadership. And there'll be smiles on children's faces next week or week after next because of y'all's efforts, and I just appreciate that. Anyone else have an announcement they'd like to make tonight? Okay, Auburn University Communications, I know finals have ended and graduation is over, and not sure we'll have a student with us tonight, and I'm not expecting one, so, okay. All right, we'll keep moving ahead. Citizens' communications on items on tonight's agenda. If you'd like to speak to the council about anything on our agenda tonight, just on our agenda, this would be the time to speak to the council. We do have a number of items, a couple under ordinances, and then all of our resolutions with conditional uses all have public hearings attached. If you want to speak to the council about any of that, please wait until then. But any other item, this would be the time to come forward. Okay, not seeing anyone. We'll move ahead then with City Manager's communications.
Mayor, I do not have any extra communications this evening. Are you ready for the consent agenda?
Please.
Our first item of business is the consent agenda. Does any council member wish to remove an item from the consent agenda and deal with that item individually?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
item 8C and item 8D1.
8C and 8D1.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Yes, sir. If I
Please.
may, I'd like to remove item 8 Delta 2.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Okay. 8C.
Item 8C concurs with the actions of the Industrial Development Board related to an 18,000 square foot expansion and a package of incentives for Strela and Hess located at 284 Enterprise Drive.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Max?
Yes, I just need to abstain from voting on this item.
Okay. All right, with abstention, any other comments or questions? All right. all
Yes,
in-
Mr. Mayor, I'd like
Yes.
to know more about how the IDB is funded, please.
So the IDB is funded with their own resources that they have acquired over the years through the ownership of property and buildings, and then they're also partially funded by the general fund.
All right, so as I understand this then, we'll be using public funds to build a building for this company. Is that? a
So
good-
the Industrial Development Board, through the state enabling legislation, this is one of its core purposes, is to be able to facilitate building of buildings or other things that companies need. So the company pays a lease rate. It's not a free building. They pay a lease rate, and this is a way for the company to invest in its people and equipment and not have to invest their equity in the building. They invest in other things that in turn makes money for both them and the city in terms of the creation of jobs, taxes, et cetera. I can have Mr. Dunlap explain further if the city council would like.
Yeah, it is a lease agreement that the business, Stress and Hess will be leasing the building from the IDB.
Yeah, they lease, so therefore the IDB gets equity in the building and they are the owner of the building. The company doesn't directly benefit
Okay, all
from
right,
the
thank you.
equity.
So,
Okay.
Any other questions? Anybody like to hear from Mr. Dunlap? I'm sure he has an interesting take on explaining all that. Okay, again, all right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Item 8D1 authorizes the execution of a memorandum of understanding with the Alabama Department of Conservation and Natural Resources for the resurfacing and maintenance of the Charlotte and Curtis Ward Bike Trail.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second. Mr. Goblins?
Yeah, I just would like to get just a quick overview of what we're doing. I know we're kind of revamping this trail. I've had several constituents reach out over the years about condition of this trail, so I'm excited to see this on our agenda. It's just a kind of a quick overview. of
Sure,
the
I'll have our
revamp.
Public Works Director do that. We'll get into that in a second. There was also a social media post today asking for some things, as well as something submitted through our Fix It. And I'll remind everyone that Dan will talk about the nuances of the agreement. The city does not own this right-of-way. It is owned by the Alabama Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, and so we don't have carte blanche to do whatever we want on this right-of-way, and I'll have Dan talk about how this agreement's going to work and the purpose.
Sure. So the Charlotte and Curtis Ward Bike Trail, it's a 1.6-mile asphalt paved surface trail that runs through, Alabama Department of Conservation and Natural Resource property along Sheltumor Parkway. Over the years, the trail was constructed in 2000, so over the last 25 years, it's deteriorated to the point where it warrants resurfacing. So the purpose of this project is to resurface the trail. It was originally constructed through a joint funding agreement between the city and the Alabama Department of Transportation. The city, per that agreement, was to assume maintenance responsibility of the trail at the time, but no easement was ever granted to the city. That would have been the instrument to permit us to perform that maintenance. So ADC&R has been performing that maintenance for the last 25 years. This pretty much just, solidifies that agreement and our commitment to the maintenance of it in the future. The estimate for the project is $500,000. That's in the FY26 budget currently. This agreement is a reimbursement agreement, so we will assume the responsibility for the project, and then ADC&R would reimburse us for half of the cost.
And Dan, if we exceed the $500,000 in terms of project costs, so in essence, because it's 50% reimbursement, it could go up more, but we're expecting to spend at least $500,000 of general fund.
Correct. We're in the design process now. We'll have a refined estimate for the project here soon, which we would communicate with ADC&R to make sure they're comfortable with the final price as well.
So we'll assume maintenance going forward on the property. Is it by way of easement or just through this memo understanding?
There's an easement that is established in the MOU.
Okay. That's what I understand. And, I mean, cost-wise, going forward, do we have an estimate of what we would have to carry forward going each year on the maintenance of this?
Annual maintenance will be performed by Public Works. We do have a maintenance regime. We've been in conversations with them on what that maintenance would look like. We feel like we can handle that maintenance with the existing capacity of our staff.
Okay, great, thank you.
Dan, does this agreement allow, because both Councilman Dawson and Koblenz deal with concerned citizens along Sheltumor Parkway when trees either fall down or branches are hanging low, does this give us any of that ability to cut those, or do we still have to wait on the owner?
Within the path, within the easement that's established for the bike path, yes, but not
But over
on
the street
not on the
itself, no.
roadway.
Okay.
Yep, the roadway will still be the responsibility of ADC&R.
Just wanted to clarify since you guys both get a lot of phone calls about that.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
Comment, if I may.
Yep.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say a few words about Drs. Charlotte and Curtis Ward. They were a big part of my growing up years in Auburn. Both were full professors in the physics department at Auburn University. In fact, Dr. Charlotte Ward taught me physics for 6 weeks in high school when my teacher was unable to complete the academic year. She was marvelously funny and bright. It was interesting that she came to class every day on a bicycle. She traveled from her home just off North College Street to the high school, which was located at that time on the corner of Dean and Sanford. We admired her tremendously for her intellect and wit. She was a well-respected member of our community, as was her whole family. It was very fitting that the Auburn community chose to honor the Wards with this bicycle trail, and I guess it was over 2000 and 2001 that it was constructed. And I, as Councilman Koblenz said, I wholeheartedly agree with taking on the restoration and maintenance of this 1.6-mile trail. So I'm all in.
All right, thank you, Sonny. Anyone else? Okay, we have motion and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Item 8D2 authorizes a contract with Bodines Landscape Services for the Veterans Memorial Park landscape renovations in the amount of $89,445.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second.
I would like to say how proud I am of the Auburn citizens and the city staff and the council for underwriting and supporting this facility. I'd like to express my appreciation to the city for designing and maintaining the Veterans Memorial Park, and to the mayor and the mayor pro tem for hosting ceremonies there 2 times a year to honor the veterans of our community. I think it speaks a lot about our citizens and this community that we would do this project and would maintain this project, and it makes me very proud. So,
Thank you.
Sonny, I've got one thing for you on that. We're also grateful to be on the Veterans Committee to Hosey Construction years ago, who, when we bid this project, they gifted their labor, and we only paid for the materials. And labor, as we know, in a construction project can be a huge part of that. The Hosey family believes strongly in supporting the veterans' effort, and so I'd like to also just acknowledge that in its original construction.
yes, indeed.
Anyone else? Thank you, Sonny, for those comments. All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the balance of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. All right, have a motion second. Any further questions or comments? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the consent agenda is approved. Ordinances.
Under ordinances, item 9A1 is a request to pre-zone approximately 36.6 acres of property located on the west side of Cox Road, immediately south of 2384 Cox Road, to Development District Housing. The Planning Commission failed to recommend approval of this request by a vote of 9-0 at its November 13th meeting. Unanimous consent is necessary and a public hearing is required.
I'll introduce ordinance and ask unanimous consent.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Does anyone on the council have a problem moving forward with the vote on this evening? Seeing and hearing none, at this time I'll open the public hearing. If you'd like to address the city council about this topic, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes to speak to the council.
Good evening, Brett Basquin with the Foresight Group, representing the applicant. On this particular project, our proposed zoning is going against the future land use plan. The write-up mentions that there's existing infrastructure and utilities need to be in place. As part of this project, we've been able to secure an off-site easement to the west to extend the sewer up from the industrial park up to this site so we can sewer this site, which I think is different than when you were evaluating this for the future land use plan. You know, in particular on this, in this corridor, over the course of the last, 10, 15 years, the council has made significant investments along this corridor. In 2010, we built a new interchange. In 2022, we widened a 2-lane road to a 3-lane road. In 2024, we invested in the Buc-ee's development along there. I get calls all across the country, probably once or twice a month. Everybody's looking along that corridor just because they see the investment in the infrastructure in place and the lack of development. I mean, even on the other end of that corridor at Wire and Cox, the city invested a couple years back in a new roundabout. So in regards to infrastructure, I'm not sure what other infrastructure needs to be in place. Lochapoka Water extended and upsized their water main to support Buc-ee's through there as well. So the infrastructure's in place for that area. It's just whether or not that area does end up turning, because most of that property is in the county. In this particular project, we're asking for pre-zoning. So we're asking for the zoning, and if we don't get the zoning, we don't want to annex in. And I don't necessarily think that that's a great thing. Our particular development is originally, we were looking at doing about 130 units in there on this 40 acres. We removed about a third of that density. We're only asking for 89 units. We're showing more than 50% open space in this, so this is a fairly low density residential development. We're only about 2.5 units per acre. As I mentioned, water's available there. It's kind of unique. Most of the time when we're annexing in to the city, it's because we want two things, water and sewer. In particular here, we don't need the city's water because Lochapoka Water is the user. We just need the sewer. But from the other side of that, if this property does remain in the county, right, there are other development potentials for this. In the county, there is no zoning, right? So we can do, this particular project could do almost anything, right? Once we bring it into the city, it comes under the city's controls. We have to meet the city's regulations. But in regards to what is allowed along there, there is no zoning, so there could be anything, whether that's, office warehouse, whether that's RV park, whether that's trailers. It's, the only thing we have to be able to do is provide on-site sewage if it's in the county. So I don't feel like the density we're asking for is out of line in that area. But I also think that the infrastructure is in place for redevelopment in that area. So be happy to answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. We'll close the public hearing. Comments or questions from the council?
I'd like to ask Megan, have we done, there any kind of traffic study been done and presented?
We've not done a traffic study on Cox Road. Now, as part of another agenda item, it will be looked at coming up in the citywide traffic study.
Have not done one?
No, sir. The 2026, a resolution you have later on, that it will be counted at that time, but we have not.
I'd like to ask Brett. Brett, how much more traffic do you expect this development to put on Cox Road?
Yeah, usually for single-family residential, we usually have on average, and we say that a house generates about 10 trips a day. So, if there's 89 units, it'd be 890 total trips, people coming and going, morning, afternoon, those types of things.
What type dollar figure are we talking about for a house out there?
These homes would probably be in the $300 to $450 range, right? If you go a little closer to Cox and Wire at the roundabout there, you kind of have a 500 plus price point. Then on the other side of that, they're right up there, so we're trying to get just right in below that 500 price point. So it'd be right around the 350, 450 range is what it would be anticipated in there.
Thank you, Brett.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Could I ask you a question while you're here?
Yes, sir.
Thanks. What drove the decision to go from 130 down to 89? I think that's a good thing, but I was just wondering
Yeah,
what
well,
you
I mean, we've had conversations with multiple members of both staff and council. I think that the concern at 130 that it was getting a little higher density. If you look at a lot of our master plan, single-family residential communities, most of those, for the most part, if there's no townhomes and it's just single-family homes, it's usually in the 2.5 to 3 units an acre range. And so we were trying to get it down below that. We were above that. We were above 3 units an acre before. And so we were just trying to get it down closer to a lower threshold on that. So.
But there will be some townhomes even.
No,
Okay.
there would be not, no. So in this particular one, we did a PDD zoning, which locks us into a plan. So the plan that's in your packet that shows 89 single-family residential lots, that's all that we could do. So it's kind of like a contract zoning in this particular case. And that's one of the reasons why we did PDD. If we would have zoned this to say DDH, you can do up to, 3.5 or 5 units an acre, depending on how you did it. We basically are proposing a fixed zoning that locks us into, this many units, which was 89 that's in the packet there.
About a third of an acre each, or so?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And we have a lot of open space. If you look at the layout and the way that we have that layout, we shifted the neighborhood further towards the back. There's a big buffer between Cox Road and where these homes are. That was going to be a big undisturbed buffer. So we're trying to leave a lot of woods and stuff. Like I said, it's over 50% open space. Typically, what would be required in this situation is only about 30% with the underlying zoning. So we're doing a bunch more just because we know that there's sensitivity in regards to density and that kind of stuff out here.
There's a lot of open space and a lake, a pond, I guess.
Yes, sir.
So who owns the open space? Does the developer retain?
No, the homeowners, so it would be owned by the homeowners association, the open space. They could, it's essentially for the benefit of the neighborhood itself.
Thank you very much.
All right, no problem.
What is your timeline, if approved, for construction of the homes?
When we get approval from here, usually by the time they're able to put up the first board to start building a home, to frame a home, is probably about a year. In regards to, we have to design and permit, build the road infrastructure. We would still have to come back to get a preliminary plat approved first, then design, permit, get it approved, then build the infrastructure, come back to you guys, for you guys to approve the final plat to accept the actual street right-of-way. And so that's usually about a year before we start. So for the most part, most of these homes would start being occupied, I would say, in 18 months probably would start. And then in regards to like how quickly these things absorb, it's been my experience, whether that's in Woodward Oaks or Mims Trail or any of these other master plan communities, usually on average, we're about, a great neighborhood is about 50 homes a year. And it usually takes 2 to 3 years to kind of build up and get that momentum to start having that much. So I would say, your first year, we'd be tickled pink if you had 10 homes, 20 homes, you know what I mean, and kind of keep building up there. So, this thing would be 5 to 6 years build out is what I would anticipate.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments, questions?
When was the last time we studied this? Was this
Just recently.
just recently? So we maintained it rural.
Well,
In our
we
last-
opted, it was presented in a meeting. Is that correct, Justice?
Yeah, that's correct. And so initially, kind of the entire Cox Road corridor was looked at for 1 acre lots. I guess the prox map kind of shows it, but I'm talking kind of everything north of that all the way to the intersection of Swan's Farm and everything, and then that was downgraded as a result, just kind of from what the lack of infrastructure, lack of other resources, and then kind of looking at this property and considering an upzone to about DDH, and then looking at just kind of from our lens of upzone and everything kind of in between this property and everything north of it was just kind of the decision on our part from not adding that many homes, potential homes, just kind of along this corridor that really didn't have the resources or the infrastructure to support that kind of development at the time.
And it was studied, before this was a focus area study, and it was studied twice in a row, because that's where the large lot residential came of in the north of here. I'll remind you, you went through an exercise recently where you adjusted land use before you made a zoning change that then adjusted land use, and that's something we're continuing to look at. I also want to remind you, if you choose to change the zoning here, de facto everything north of here would be very eligible for the very same zoning. When you do that and you go out and do this, this is your choice as the city council. You ultimately adopt a land use plan and you make the zoning decisions. But I want to remind you, when you go in and put a zone like this and then you put a plan development district overlay, whether you do or you don't, if people around this property are asking for the same thing and it has similar characteristics from a legal standpoint, it would be hard to not approve that. Those are just things for you to consider.
And even though, I know the comment was made about leaving it, if it remained in the county, there's no zoning, but the county does fall to our subdivision regulations, correct? And on a rural basis, to the base zone of rural? Or
Well,
is it 1 acre?
yeah,
There's some differences there.
Yeah.
yeah. So good distinction. So it would be minimum. I guess it's inside the optimal boundary, but I guess outside of it, I think it'd be 3 acre lots. Just from what it's doing now, since they're not annexing. And I guess we'd also be involved from the access standpoint on the Cox Road.
What about the planning jurisdiction? Are we?
Firmly inside of that. It is firmly
Firmly
inside
inside.
of the planning jurisdiction. And so there's a distinction between inside the optimal boundary, outside city limits. But if you were outside city limits, but inside the planning jurisdiction within the optimal boundary, you have it. I want to say it's a 3 acre lot minimum. Versus if you were outside the optimal boundary and outside the city limits, but inside the planning jurisdiction, you have a 1 acre lot size minimum.
Isn't that only for subdivisions? I mean, if they could put some other kind of business structure that.
That is correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
use is not being controlled. It's just a
Correct.
matter of subdividing.
Yeah,
You're correct.
access and lot size is what we'd be
Yeah.
concerned about looking at subdivision.
Right, but if they took the entire parcel and just made it a use, to your point.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, they could.
The comment was made that they could put most anything there, but the only thing that we have any control over whatsoever is if they choose to put another type of subdivision there.
Yeah, that's
The
correct.
rest
Yeah.
of it's wide open still.
Yeah, that's correct.
sir.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Questions?
Only problem I have with it is I introduced the ordinance, on the last, when we talked about future land use, I was the one that asked that it not be changed and leave it rural. And we had some discussions about this being one house per acre property, and I would have no trouble with that, but I just can't go against future land use. I don't feel like it'd be appropriate what I was asked to do with my constituents out there. I will say this is a very hard decision to make because of the developer. I know him and he's a good person and does good work. And I appreciate everything Brett does for us, for the city, but I just can't in all good conscience vote for the 89 homes and go against future land use like that.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Chief. Given the recent workshops that we've been involved in and trying to show good faith to a future land use plan, it seems that this has come upon us. This is the very type of situation that we were making decisions to avoid, and on its face, I have no problem with the development, but we're running up against our future land use plan, and so for that reason, I'll be voting with you, Chief.
Anyone else? Okay. Lindsay, the roll call?
Mormon,
No, ma'am.
Parsons,
No.
Witten,
No.
Adams,
No.
Oblent,
No, ma'am.
Dawson,
No, ma'am.
Griswold,
No, ma'am.
Anders.
No.
All right, because that motion fails, number 9A2, which was a pre-zoning for a planned development district, cannot apply because it doesn't have a base zone at the moment. And so therefore, that item will not be considered. Justice, you agree? That de facto withdraws it, and if you are ready, we would carry on to 9A3.
Please.
Item 9A3 is a request to annex approximately 85.85 acres of property located on Society Hill Road, east of Nash Creek Drive and north of the Mitchell Farms development for a project known as Cole Place Phase 1. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this request at its November 13th meeting. This item was postponed from the November 18th meeting. We've already had first reading, so you do need a motion for approval to proceed.
I'd like to move to postpone to a date certain of the next council.
January 6th.
Thank you, January 6, 2026. I just would like to learn more about, I know it's in the optimal boundary, but the impacts of this on that side of town, and because there's some varying aspects of this, so I just need a little bit more time, if that's okay with the council.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to postpone to January 6, 2026. Any further questions or comments?
Is it okay to ask if this is going to remain rural? Or do we know that?
Go ahead, Justice.
Yeah, good question. So since it's in the Lake Ogletree watershed, it'll automatically be given the designation of a conservation overlay district, but that's just specific to the Lake Ogletree watershed. And so since, I guess to answer your question, no, it will not remain rural, but effectively there's already a plat associated with it where they didn't try to use the lot minimums, it's 3-acre lot minimums, so.
Right, the remain with the conservation overlay being automatic with the Lake Ogletree watershed, it's 1.5 acre lots are the minimum, but it would average the same, but he's saying the developer's proposing 3-acre lots at the moment. And I'm not saying they said anything about changing, just that would be their prerogative. They can't do less than a 1.5 acre lot nor exceed the density of 3 acres across the entirety of the project.
Would this require a development agreement with the development itself? Would we have one on this one?
Possibly. Scott?
We'd have to look at the infrastructure improvements are needed if they're, if they do a traffic study required, then if there's additional traffic improvements, there wouldn't be any water or sewer improvements outside of that.
Yeah, so it's possible this one will not have one, but that's to be determined through the DRT process.
Thank you.
All right, we do have a motion and a second to postpone to January 6. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, and we'll hear this at our first meeting of the year.
Item 9B authorizes an amendment to Chapter 12 of the City Code to exclude gross receipts from consumable vapor products. Unanimous consent is necessary.
I'll introduce the ordinance and ask for unanimous consent.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Does anyone on the council have a problem moving forward with a vote on this evening? All right, seeing and hearing none. Any questions? Comments?
Well, just for clarification, an ordinance to add vapor products to the gross receipts exclusions. Can you talk
Sure
through that?
thing. There's some state law changes, and I'll have Allison Edge, our finance director, explain.
So, as the memo says, when that act was passed to put a tax on vape products, they specifically included language that said we needed to exclude that from any business license calculation. And so ahead of business license renewal season, we need to get that in our ordinance for that exclusion to be formalized. Yeah. It's just a part of the act, part of the language that they included at the state level that we're required to do.
So in essence, they would remit their receipts to the state, and then the state would then send our portion to us? Is that?
So the tax itself is something that the state will collect. This is a state shared tax.
Mm-hmm.
But this that we are doing is just when they renew their business license and they are calculating their gross receipts, any receipts that they had for selling vape products would be excluded from that. That's just what the act says. So,
I see,
yeah.
okay. So they would pay the base
They would
rate
just-
for a business license?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions? Comments? Okay, Lindsay with a roll call.
Parsons,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Adams.
Yes.
Copeland,
Yes, ma'am.
Dawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Griswold,
Yes, ma'am.
Norman,
Yes, ma'am.
Anders.
Yes. Resolutions.
Item 10A1 is a conditional use request for a commercial and entertainment use, a tattoo shop for property located at 178 North Donahue Drive in the Urban Neighborhood West Zoning District. The Planning Commission recommended approval of this request by a vote of 4 to 3 at its December 11th meeting. A public hearing is required.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion is second. This time I'll open the public hearing. If you'd like to address City Council, you're welcome to come forward and give us your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes to speak to the council. Okay. We'll close the public hearing. Any comments or questions from the council?
Is the applicant present? Because I have a question for the applicant, if that's okay.
If you would state your name
Yeah,
and
you're fine.
address
Just
for the
go right on
record.
up there.
Desmond Barnett,
Okay, and your address?
home address,
Yeah, please.
it's 362 West Glen Avenue,
Okay,
apartment 7.
thank you.
Mr. Barnett, would there be, we've had some concern about the use that we're looking at. And one of the proposals that I would have is to amend this to include operating hours to end by 9 PM.
Yes, ma'am, that's fine.
That would be okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other
That is it.
questions for the
Thank you.
applicant? Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Y'all have a good day.
So Beth, you would make a motion to add a condition of that? Okay.
Any other questions, thoughts, comments?
I would like to move to amend to add a condition that the operating hours end at 9 PM on any day of the week.
What days of the week?
Any day of the
All
week.
days.
All days.
I'll
of the week.
second that.
Have a motion and a second to add a condition of 9 PM closure. Any comments or thoughts on that? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that condition has been added. All right, one more time, any questions or comments?
I would like to state that I think tattoo establishments have had in the past a bad reputation. I think that's changed dramatically with the addition of a lot of safety protocols that have gone into place. And anyone who may have had a tattoo lately knows that the cost of a tattoo or a piercing is rather expensive. So I would think that the cause for concern from a safety perspective would be greatly diminished based off of current rules and regulations and costs, and not the previous perception of outlaws and biker gangs going into tattoo parlors.
Just a question, does anyone have any feel for the kind of review that businesses such as this would be under, health-wise or
Public Health
any
Department.
otherwise?
Not something that we manage directly. The public health would have, but that's not a function of the city. It's a state through the county. Yep.
One would assume there are such things, then.
Of course there are.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Megan, question on the 9 PM enforcement of that, would it be have to be through call-in of issues being open past 9 PM or anything like that, or how do we go about enforcing that?
I think, on that we don't have a ton of hours restrictions on businesses, it would be something that, that we're not gonna be out looking for, but if we get a complaint that it's open past that time, and obviously we'd be working with the applicant to remind them of such, and it'll say on a zoning certificate in essence that gets issued for the business license. I mean, they'll also be made aware in writing of the condition. But we would enforce it if there were issues with it, first from a warning standpoint, and then next we can elevate, and I don't expect that to happen, but we could elevate it to municipal court, because it'd be a violation of the zoning ordinance in essence.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Kelly?
I received a comment from the adjacent property owner concerned about the proximity to residential, right up against it. And in fact, they said it was in a matter of feet, I believe, from a bedroom to the property in question. So I'm just curious from the planning director, through you, of course, of what kind of comments were received at the planning commission.
So we had one person speak during the public hearing. It was the adjacent property owner. He owns a single-family house right next to this establishment. He brought up that he think he measured it. It's about 8 feet or so. Urban Neighborhood West, east of North Donahue, is one of the few places in town that has maximum setbacks. And so the maximum setback in this location is 10 feet. And so it cannot be greater than 10 feet. So the building is required to be that close to the property line. And it's really, really close. So, I mean, and I guess the minimum is 0. So you can't have a 0 lot line building. So the only person who spoke about the proximity to it, proximity to the bedroom, and then, like I mentioned in the meeting, is that this is a requirement by the zoning ordinance that it has to be that close to maximize the density downtown.
And was that the only concern from the public?
That was the only person who spoke against it. That is correct.
And you had, I think, council received, and there were some emails received I think, from the same family with the home ownership.
A couple of them, yeah.
Yes,
Thanks.
sir.
Okay.
Anything else? Any other questions, comments? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Can
Do
I
you need-
see hands
Nay.
on them?
Yeah, can we get hands on the nays?
3 nays.
3 nays? Okay.
All right, motion carries. All right, item 2.
Item 10A2 is request for conditional use approval of a performance residential development, a multiple unit development for property located at 726 Harper Avenue in the Corridor Redevelopment District East Zoning District. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this request at its December 11th meeting. A public hearing is required.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. This time we'll open the public hearing. If you'd like to address the city council, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes to speak to the council. Anyone? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Anyone on the council have a comment or question?
Question.
Please.
Will this be a 3-story building like 644, just a few doors down?
He's getting to it. Hold on just a second here.
Yeah. It will not be. The eve height's only 19.7 on the building. So it's going to be 3 that go back into the property, not going vertically. So it'll be 3 triplexes horizontally, or triplex horizontally.
Straight back?
Correct.
Any other comments, questions? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Item 10A3 is a request for conditional use approval of a performance residential development, a multiple unit development for property located at 732 Mercer Circle in the Corridor Redevelopment East Zoning District. Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this request at its December 11th meeting. A public hearing is required.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion second. This time we'll open the public hearing. If you'd like to address the council, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record. And you have 5 minutes to speak to the council.
Hello, my name is Leslie Edwards. I live at 732 Mercer Circle. I want to build this building as our garage home office space, not actually a unit to rent to anybody. I started out like 4 months ago with an accessory building that just had a garage and like kind of empty space upstairs for a home office. But it exceeded the 50% floor area because our house is so small. So I tried to get a variance from the BZA, and they and the planning department recommended I put a kitchen and some bedrooms in it, and I could do it through a multi-use, multi-unit development. So they unanimously approved that, so I'm here asking you to approve it as well. Our primary structure is my grandparents' house. They built it in 1958. My mom grew up there. We bought it from my late grandmother in 2018. And so the house and the circle are like super important to us. We've been going there forever, like our whole lives. I could easily like bulldoze it down and build some giant thing there, but I don't want to do that, and I don't want to alter the structure of the house because everything in that circle is a 1-story, 1,200 square foot, 1 carport kind of thing. So I don't want to build anything on top of it or anything like that. We've lived there since 2018, and we've really been trying to make it work for us, but it's not working out. I work on cars, and I do woodworking as a hobby, and Most of my tools and lumber are like all in the carport and they're all along the sides of the house, and it's like a terrible eyesore for the neighbors. It opens up to security threats from burglars and safety concerns with us tripping over everything when we go through the carport. I also have to work outside, so it limits when I can do stuff. My husband works from home, and he's taking up one of our 3 bedrooms, and it's hard to keep the noise down for him. So really, I just want to tuck a building into the back corner of my lot and hide it as best as I can with like shrubs and stuff. I don't want it to be an eyesore. There's plenty of parking in our driveway for the parking requirements for the development, but no one else is going to park there, so we're not going to be parking on the street. We're within the ISR and the FAR for everything. It is an unusual application of this use, I think, but I hope you all will agree to approve it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
May I ask a question? So the rendering that we see in the packet, that is the shed. That is the back, that is the additional structure.
Yeah, it's like a garage
Gotcha.
with windows. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Sounds like you've gotten a crash course in planning.
I have. It's been very informative.
All right, well, thank you. If we have any other questions for you, we'll let you know.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Follow-up questions or comments from the council?
I have a couple on what is allowed. Could the owner rent this structure?
Mr. Con, yeah.
Yeah, she could.
Could everyone on the street have one and rent it?
It depends on their lot size, and so pretty much the minimum lot size for MUDs is 10,000 square feet. Her lot's 17,000 square feet, and so if any of the lots in CRDE were 10,000 square feet and then met all of the setbacks, et cetera, they would be able to do this. This would be a conditional use avenue for everybody.
Mind you, it does have the other criteria, though. That's why they talk about kitchen and some other things.
Yeah, and so that's and so I guess the tables govern CRDE as far as like what can be done, different special development standards associated with MUDs, and so in theory, every lot that met could, but I don't know if every lot over there meets the requirements and would be able to do it. I think it was a unique situation for her, just not unique enough for her to get a variance.
And this is what I won't say want to see happen, but we want to see this neighborhood transition to commercial eventually, or can you speak to where this is heading?
Right. So I think your question's kind of much more talking about what's the North Star of CRDE and kind of what the purpose of it was. So CRDE is kind of the intended for corridor redevelopment and looking at mixed uses vertically and horizontally. And it really kind of contemplates a lot more assemblage of smaller parcels when you think kind of along Glen and along Harper, kind of putting one or two of those deeper lots together and then building a bigger building with the density of 10 dwelling units an acre kind of deal. What this is looking at and kind of contemplating is adding an additional structure to an existing building with no real redevelopment. And so the overall purpose of this, of the zoning district, I think would not be achieved if everybody did this. The real achievement would, like I said, would be assembling these parcels together and then redevelopment kind of from the ground up and getting mixed use horizontally and vertically. The option to add density is also there as well to kind of incentivize that. But I guess adding an additional accessory building on a residential lot where the use really isn't going to change, if everybody were to do that on CRDE, that would not achieve the goal of CRDE.
It's interesting that she didn't really want to do this. And we said, but if you had a kitchen, it would be all right.
Well, and I guess kind of that's from a size thing. And so she could build an accessory structure. She just would be limited to about a 700 square foot building. She did not want to do that and opted for a bigger building to accommodate
So this is
her
the
needs.
difference of making the nuances in the ordinance to achieve what a citizen is requesting. The staff advised here is the only way to achieve that. A variance is a hardship created by the land on somebody's ability to do things. It's plenty big for a house. It exists there. It's a 17,000 square foot lot. There's no hardship created by the ordinance because you have reasonable use. This is just a way because it happens to be in this zone to do it. Of course, it is well intended. There is the risk that if it is sold and you've not heard anything where anybody's wanting it to leave the family, yes, it can be rented. And that's just the only way to achieve the size garage and workshop and things is to do it this way, or it can't be done at this size. And that's what you're here to adjudicate.
All of the homes on this circle can be rented to 5 or more unrelated occupants,
Yeah, I think
correct?
that was pointed out at the meeting as well, that several of the
So,
occupants on Mercer Circle are already renters.
So, and I think multiple people that live on the circle are renting. So,
And your point was well made that they don't have to be related.
That is correct. It is also up to 5 unrelated here in the zoning
But
district.
it's also per unit,
Yep.
per unit. Just want to remind you, not lot, but unit.
Interesting.
Any thoughts, questions?
I'd just like to commend the applicant for her patience in working her way through the sometimes obtuse planning process.
and I'd also like to thank our staff for working with the applicant and working with our citizens to try and come up with creative solutions that enable them to, in this case, enables a family to stay in a home that they want to stay in a neighborhood that they want to stay in, and make their home work for them. So,
Good comments, both of you. All right, anything else?
By way of summary, we will have 2 dwelling units, or MUD, I guess, on one piece of property, 2 addresses, basically.
Yeah, it's correct. I guess, so it could have its own address if she seek to push it that far, but I don't think from a use standpoint that's not what she's gonna do.
Yeah. All right, very good. Thank you.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Item 10A4 is a request for conditional use approval of an expansion for an existing industrial use and manufacturing facility known as 2A. It's property located at 2410 West Tech Lane in the Industrial Zoning District. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this request at its December 11th meeting. A public hearing is required.
Move for approval.
All right, have a motion and a second. This time we'll open the public hearing. If you'd like to address the council, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes to speak to the council. No one, we'll close the public hearing. Comments or questions from the council? Certainly want to say thank you to our team. This is the second item on our agenda tonight of expansion, and congratulations. We appreciate the hard work. Okay. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Item 10A5 is a request for conditional use approval of a performance residential development, a 10-unit, multiple-unit development known as Judd Avenue Phase 2, located at 538 Richland Road in the redevelopment district zoning district. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this request at its December 11th meeting. A public hearing is required.
Move for approval.
second.
Motion second. At this time, I'll open the public hearing. If you'd like to address the council, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record, and you'll have 5 minutes to speak.
Evening.
Good evening.
Lee Tharp, Cadre Engineering for the applicant. Just wanted to point one thing out. My understanding was there was some concern about, recently in the last couple of days about the site where this is going on, or where this is proposed being an active project site. Just want to clear some of that stuff up. What is active on the job site now is a previously approved commercial piece of the development where the site work it's a very small parcel, it's only 1 acre. And the site work for that was proposed with an overall project development. So just wanted to clear anything up. There's no current work being done on what's proposed in front of y'all right now. There's just been some dirt moved there previously that was already approved. Other than that, happy to answer any questions. If you have any, just let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak in the public hearing? Okay, close the public hearing. Any comments or questions from the council?
Is this Phase 2 of Piper Glen? Is this going to be connected to Piper Glen?
No. Hold on a second. There we go.
All right, yeah, no. Yeah, this is phase two of kind of Judd Avenue. There are cottage homes, I guess, to the east of this that front off of I guess that's Judd, and this portion will take access off of Richland Road.
This is a change from the original proposal they had made. That's why they're back before you.
And that original proposal didn't have a density max on it, or?
No, so all of, I guess, the initial proposal that they showed was 16 dwelling units kind of on the other side, and then it had 8,000 square feet of commercial in this current parcel that they're talking about. But I guess the density that they could have done would have been roughly 41 dwelling units an acre in RDD, with 2.5 acres for the total lot size. And so they just came back to remove part of that commercial designation to add some residential on the remaining acreage.
Shrunk the commercial and increased the residential.
Yep, that's correct.
But the commercial is still viable and moving forward on this, yeah.
Any other questions?
Looking at the packet, the page that has all the red writing on it, let's see, we approved a mixed-use development. Okay, it had access coming off of Judd, and this was the one where you had to walk down the middle of the sidewalks to reach the
The
front
cottage
doors
homes,
of
yeah.
the cottage homes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's out the window now.
No. The cottages are built. The cottages are there.
They're still
They take access off of Judd. They are already there.
Okay.
And so I guess in the current site plan that shows there's the steps, but the cottages are kind of off to the side on it. It's just the 10 residential units on the south side of the property, and then on the north side of the property, that's where the commercial building is. And so what changed was the orientation of the commercial. Yeah.
The blue with the cloud around it is what we're referring to right now. The rest is already built.
Yeah.
If that helps.
Yeah, that does help quite a bit. Thank you.
Yep, okay.
And the parking for the proposed 10 units is under the buildings?
No, it'll be it's on the site. And so I guess all of the parking that they had, the 18, the 12, 5, and the 10. Yep.
Yeah, and you flip to the other side, that's what they're proposing now versus what this was originally proposed. This is what they're doing in the
blue
smaller area. Yeah, that's in the blue, correct. And so the parking's in what looks like brick.
Mm-hmm. That's what threw me. Okay, thank you.
What kind of commercial?
Yeah, I guess the.
You can also, the applicant sent a rendering today. It was ready today, so they wanted, we'll put that up. I think that helps answer what's going on here. And they have a tenant, is that what you had said, Kevin? Yeah, they have a tenant for the commercial already.
Okay.
I think this is a little bit representative of what's going there.
All right, that's exciting. That's great. All right, any other comments, thoughts? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Okay. We're off of conditional uses. We'll move to other contracts. Item 10C1 authorizes a contract with Kimley Horn Associates for the FY 2026 citywide traffic study project in the amount of $698,700. Recommendations pertaining to the urban core and urban neighborhood west zones will be priorities on an accelerated schedule. We anticipate this whole study to take about 1 year.
Move for approval.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
Will we have this data in time to implement it within the next 12 months?
So you also approved a sewer item on consent agenda that is studying the sewer piece, and while we will be moving as expeditiously as we can, even on the sewer items, a lot of things are more than 6 months down the road before we get data that could be helpful. It could be 6 to 8 months. And so you set a deadline of 12 months, we're going to do what we can. We'll have data back. I don't know that recommendations, I can't guarantee at this time until we see what the data says. And that's both sewer and traffic. I don't know if they'll be completed and fully adopted in that 12-month period. I can't tell you that right now. Brandy, did you have something to add?
Well, I was just going to say that we have put the downtown, urban neighborhood west, and urban cores on an accelerated schedule. We will be collecting all of that data during the Auburn University spring semester timeline, kind of the January, February timeframe. And the goal of this is to have those two areas analyzed and recommendations made within 6 months of signatures on the contract. So hopefully within the 12 months, we would certainly have some recommendations for you all, but implementation of those, depending on what those recommendations are, would definitely not be within the 12 months.
Yeah, thank you, Brandy, for clarifying. That means zoning ordinance changes and/or manual changes. Those are the things, because of advertising and vetting, there aren't guarantees. Recommendation-wise, we can be there. That's why, on your regular updates, and this is your first one, we've got 2 contracts tonight dealing with various and sundry things we were planning to do, but they also have focal points of expediting the downtown area portions of this to get us data as reasonable and as quickly as possible so that we can begin that analysis piece with our consultants.
Yeah, comments, questions?
Is this the same contractor that did the previous citywide
It is not.
traffic study?
It is not.
Okay, was this competed?
Brandy?
No, this was not. We selected this firm because of some previous work they had done with us very successfully and that met our timelines, which was very important to us for this project.
So on professional services, one of the challenges is while we can do RFPs and we can interview firms, we are not allowed from, especially the engineering side, to compete them based on price. They have a prohibition to that. It's based on scope and skills. And so while people can give us prices, I mean, the budget for this was $750,000. And so we're under that and we're satisfied with the scope of work, but we do interview firms on the regular, and often city engineer will establish 8 to 10 consulting firms we work with. Foresight Group is in the room. We work with them a good bit. We work with Cadre Engineering, Lee Tharp that you heard from tonight. We work with them on a variety of projects, and we try to mix it up. Kimley Horn, one of the things, Skipper has done a number of good studies for us, but we also felt it important to get a different lens on this from a different firm and Brandy has written the scope differently before because we want some different outcomes.
So specifically for this effort, you had other firms that you consulted with prior to this selection, specifically for this contract?
Not specifically for this contract, no.
And we picked Kimley Horn on this one and negotiated.
And how much was the previous traffic study? How much did it cost us?
I don't recall off the top of my head.
500,000.
Yeah, $500,000, okay. And what was the timeline on the previous traffic study?
That one, from start to finish, wound up being about 2 years.
Okay, and this one is anticipated to be
Less than 12 months.
12 months, okay.
Have we completed all the goals from the last one?
No, and we've talked about that in the moratorium meetings. We talked about the fact that the outcome, it's a misnomer to say that you're going to have a traffic study and 100% implement it. It's calling for things that require right-of-way, changes to curb cuts, all kinds of things. Sometimes we're waiting on redevelopment. Sometimes we don't have right-of-way. We also have worked with folks to comply with it and found out we've had $100,000 of fiber optic lines running under driveways where we could not adjust those things. Brandy, you had a percentage that we have completed.
Yes, I believe we're around 66% completed at this point.
And so again, we still owe you a work session after the holidays where we'll go over exactly where we are on that if you still want to do that.
Do we put the highest priorities on the highest traffic areas?
Well, Brandy will talk from her lens. There's a lot. There's what do you guys think, what's going on, what's our accident data, different developments, things like the new high school could shift, people in this room know this, but Moores Mill Road is carrying more traffic than North Donahue. And it's not as wide as we're about to make North Donahue. And so the high school is driving a priority to get North Donahue in the vicinity of the high school widened first. Moores Mill's 6 years out or 5 years out on the CIP, but it actually has a higher traffic volume than Donahue does. And so there are various nuances with adjacent development sometimes that drive us to do that sooner. Some of it is perception versus reality, but it's also data. Brandy?
Yeah, we can establish prioritization, which we did with our previous study. Oftentimes that is based on, to Megan's point, we look at accident history, we look at how bad the situation is and what things can be done and what those costs would be to do that. And then we can develop a matrix that would then provide those prioritizations. But we can't always accomplish them underneath that prioritized schedule due to the many constraints that Megan has mentioned, which could be anything from right-of-way to adjacent properties and things of that nature. And then, of course, we do have other things, such as a new high school that was not proposed when we did our previous traffic study and was not considered because it was not known at that time. Those things come up and also shift our priorities.
I do think it's important in this proposal, task number 7, the stakeholder engagement in meetings, providing multiple opportunities to work with the project manager, staff, leadership of the city, stakeholders, including citizens. So I do appreciate that as being included in this proposal.
I'm sorry, does it say citizens?
It does.
Okay. Oh, there, to engage with citizens, gotcha. All right, okay. And how did y'all come up with the $750,000 ceiling for this effort?
Based on our knowledge of what professional services usually cost, we were able to develop that based on what we felt needed to be done for this project.
$250,000 more than the last time.
Yes,
We've
sir.
grown a good bit also.
We've grown a good bit and had quite a bit of inflation in that time as well.
Wow, okay.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Item 10C2 authorizes a commercial development agreement with Swanson Diamond Center Incorporated. Remember, with commercial development agreements, we have to do a unanimous consent as necessary and a public hearing is required, even though it's a resolution. Just introduce it.
I'd like to introduce the
Resolution.
resolution and ask for unanimous consent.
Second.
Motion and a second. Anyone on the council have a problem moving forward with the vote on this evening?
I will be abstaining.
Okay, one abstention. Seeing and hearing none, we'll open the public hearing. If you'd like to address the city council, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes to speak to the council. Okay, seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Any comments or questions from the dais?
It's a very exciting project, and I'm excited that we have the opportunity to invest back in someone that's really invested a lot in this community. And the renderings here and what they plan to do on Opelika Road with their existing building, it looks fantastic. It's very similar to what we've done with the Country's Barbecue and hopefully several more businesses in the future on Opelika Road.
Thank you, Tom.
Quick question, have the sales and use taxes been averaging $50,000 a year?
We cannot speak to that because that's confidential taxpayer information.
All right, fine and dandy.
But I can assure you that we usually protect existing revenue when doing rebates and look at often funding things over and above. But we do protect that information.
And this is no free lunch. The amount of the investment here is $700,000, of which $500,000, I guess, will approximately be borne by the business owner.
They spend the money up front, have to certify that all the improvements are complete, and then once they get a certification from us, we go out and inspect and make sure they're complete from the agreement standpoint. The rebate begins and they get paid quarterly in arrears. So it will take up to 8 years and no more than $25,000 a year of reimbursement for the 200. So in essence, just always for people who don't understand these, and I know the council does, is if the business doesn't generate adequate revenue to cover the rebate, they don't get all of their money. And we really try to size these to make sure that they do get their funding over a period of time.
And we made a stipulation or two, one of which was brick veneer over a large chunk of the building.
Mr. Howard, well, it already is that way. They're modifying, but I'll have our commercial development director speak to that.
Good evening, Council. So as you mentioned, Councilman Mormon, yes, they will be adding some additional brick veneer on the north-facing facade of the building, which is currently just kind of a metal-type structure that previously wasn't as visible when there was a building there that has since been torn down. So in some discussions with the business owner, we were able to include that as part of their updates to the facade as well. So we're very excited for that and all that it has, not only for their business, but for Opelika Road too.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. All right, any other comments, questions?
Come a long way since Kentucky Fried Chicken.
It looks a whole lot better, too.
That's when Kentucky Fried Chicken was good.
Vince, I want to say thank you to you and your family for being good stewards of this community and being good servants of this community and investing back in this community, and appreciate you taking this step to beautify your building in a corridor that we've been working on hard to make it better and more attractive, and you're a great teammate, so thank you. And thank you for your service on the Pines Crossing Advisory Board.
I have to tell you a quick story. It's been common over the years for young ladies to drive by Vince Swanson's diamond shop and see if their boyfriends are parked there for various reasons.
I do the same thing to make sure my mother-in-law and wife aren't parked there.
All right, any other comments or questions?
When you're ready for a vote, I do advise a roll call, just because of the unanimous
Sure,
consent
thank you.
side.
Thank you for reminding me of that. All right, anything else, Dice? Okay, Lindsay with the roll call.
Adams,
Yes.
Oblence,
Yes, ma'am.
Dawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Griswold,
Yes, ma'am.
Mormon,
Yes, ma'am.
Parsons,
Yes.
Witten,
Abstain.
Anders.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Hold on just a second. All right, we are going to go to item 10C3, authorizes, oops, my stuff got out of order here. It is authorizing a contract with Thalamus LLC for the fiscal year 2025-2026 fiber expansion project in the amount of $383,743.50.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Item 10D1 assents to the vacation of a portion of the public alley / right-of-way on Duplex Court and further authorizes the mayor and city manager to execute a quitclaim deed relinquishing the properties to Lovely Investments LLC. A public hearing is required.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion is second. This time I'll open the public hearing. If you'd like to address the council, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Any comments or questions from the council? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Item 10D2 assents to the vacation of a portion of the public alley / right-of-way on Duplex Court and further authorizes the mayor and city manager to execute a quitclaim deed relinquishing the properties to Sweet Auburn Holdings LLC. A public hearing is required.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion is second. We'll open the public hearing. You have 5 minutes to talk to the city council. Please come forward and give us your name and address for the record. And here no one, we'll close the public hearing. Any comments or questions from the council?
This is the same thing. It's just that there are multiple owners and it had to be broken out so that it would, I guess,
Correct.
be a straight contract between the individuals and the city.
Correct. We're about to get to Wonder Twin Powers also, so we've got to, you're going to giggle when I say that, so I'm just getting it out now.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Item 10D3 assents to the vacation of a portion of the public alley / right-of-way on Duplex Court and further authorizes the mayor and city manager to execute a quitclaim deed relinquishing the properties to Sweet Auburn Holdings LLC, formerly known as Wonder Twin Powers LLC. A public hearing is required.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion is second. We'll open the public hearing. If you'd like to address the city council, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record. You'll have 5 minutes to speak, and if you know what Wonder Twin Powers means, we'd like to have you come forward and speak to that too. Okay. Seeing and hearing no one, we'll move forward. Any comments or questions from the dais? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Mayor, those are all of the items of business we have for you this evening.
Well, this is the last meeting of this calendar year, and I just certainly want to take the time to say thank you to this council for your hard work and your dedication to the citizens of Auburn. We don't always agree. Y'all get to witness that every other Tuesday night, but I would declare that everybody up here is dedicated to those people that they represent, and I appreciate your efforts, as I do our staff. Thank you for the hard work of the hundreds and hundreds of people who represent the city of Auburn each and every day in this community. Thank you for your dedication to our citizens and the way you care about getting the job done on behalf of all of us here in Auburn. And I want to thank the people that live here. You make Auburn very special. We have a unique population here that really gives to our community. We take care of one another, and we've got a lot of talented folks with great ideas, and we're thankful for all of you. And thank you for living here in our community and making it better. Certainly want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and safe travels and a Happy New Year, and I look forward to 2026 with all of you.
Mayor, I do apologize. There's no Citizens Open Forum listed and on the agenda.
I just went for it.
I know you went for it, so.
Thank you.
But I'm going to acknowledge that it's missing from here, and it should have been on here.
Did good, oh.
Yeah, thank you, Tommy. Appreciate it. Anyone else want to do something out of order like I just did?
Well, it's not on your agenda, so you were in order.
It's right here on mine.
Huh? It's not on mine, so.
All right, good. Okay. Move to adjourn?
Are we gonna
Yeah,
have?
yeah.
Open the citizens open forum.
Oh, Citizens Open Forum.
What are you afraid of tonight?
Santa Claus.
It's on the next.
This time we'll open the Citizens Open Forum. If you'd like to address the city council about anything that might be on your mind, this would be your opportunity to do that. We'd ask that you come forward and give us your name and address for the record. And you have 3 minutes to speak to the council.
Hi there, City Council. My name is Krishna Sangani from 228 Rosalie Court, also business owner of Tiger Spirits and Charred Oak Premium Spirits here in Auburn. I did see we were on the agenda. Does that have to be approved, or we're good? I just
You were
wanna make sure.
approved on the consent agenda right at the very beginning of the meeting.
Okay, I remember. Yeah, so we're good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Anyone
sorry,
else?
the city manager can't read items on the back of the agenda, so, yeah.
Anyone else? Okay. Is there,
Close.
we'll close the Citizens Open Forum. Now, is there a move to adjourn? Please,
So
for
moved.
goodness gracious. We're adjourned. Happy New Year.
Next time.